With Amex Platinum, you can enjoy access to dedicated card member entrances at select events because skipping the line makes you the star of game day. That's the powerful backing of American Express. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/withAmex. Card member entrance access not limited to Amex Platinum card.
I just MailChimped my marketing.
You MailChimped your what?
I MailChimped my marketing with AI to create an effective marketing campaign in minutes.
No, MailChimp and Way.
Yes, MailChimp and Way. Now I can hyper-personalize my campaigns across email and SMS.
You can do all that with MailChimp?
What did I just MailChimp and say?
MailChimp your marketing with the #1 AI-powered email marketing and automation platform, Intuit MailChimp. #1 based on publicly available data on competitors' customers. Plans vary. SMS available as add-ons. Visit MailChimp.com.
You have to be able to take that old school coaching style, that physical, that get after mentality, but fit it to the new school player.
This week's National Coach of the Week, presented by Modern Football Technology, is Trevor Hudson, the head coach at American Canyon High School in California. In this episode, he shares his unique coaching philosophy that combines traditional values with modern strategies. He emphasizes teamwork, discipline, and relational coaching, creating strong leadership through a mentorship program. Coach Hudson discusses the importance of reducing penalties by setting clear behavioral expectations and highlights his commitment to a strong running game, leveraging real-time data through tools like modern football technology. His approach reflects a respect for football's roots and an adaptation to today's athlete. In his second season, Coach Hudson brings a deep-rooted passion for football and player development to American Canyon. Growing up in Miami, Coach Hudson began coaching Little League in high school, sparking a career focused on shaping young men. After serving in the Air Force and coaching at Edwards Air Academy, Coach Hudson spent 2 years as an assistant at national powerhouse Bishop Gorman. Now he aims to elevate American Canyon into a national program. Guided by the team's motto, Wolves versus Everybody, Coach Hudson is building a culture of discipline, unity, and resilience, honoring the foundation laid by previous coaches. Before we get into today's episode, let's hear from Coach Hudson on how he uses modern football technology, our partner for this series.
Good morning. My name is Coach Trevor Hudson. I'm the head football coach at American Canyon High School, and I want to take the time to talk to you real briefly about modern football technology and how it's helping our program and helping us stay a step ahead of our competition. The in-game analytics is easy to use. It's something that anybody can break down, and it tells you what to run, when to run it, and how effective it is to run set plays. This is a program that I would highly recommend to anybody, unless you play me. Then I don't want you using it because I don't need you knowing what I know. On the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, modern football technology has been a great help to help the Wolves get to an 8-0 record and hopefully continue to get greater. You're not using it, you're holding your program back. Check it out now.
Whether you're heading into the playoffs or wrapping up your season, modern football technology is a tool that can help you create a more efficient workflow for game planning and help you make the best decisions on game day. Be sure to contact Christian Messesian and his team at Modern Football Technology. A link to book a demo is in the show notes.
Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
We're in week 10 of our National Coach of the Week series, and joining me today is the head coach at American Canyon, Trevor Hudson. Coach, congratulations on being recognized as our National Coach of the Week presented by Modern Football Technology. It's great to have you here.
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. But before I can accept any award of any type, I have to just make sure that the thanks goes to the right place. And that starts off with my staff, with my players, and most of all, with my wife. Because, boy, the hours that I put in, if she was not there supporting me the way she is, I don't know how I would do it, man. But it's an honor. I'm greatly privileged and enthusiastic about it. But I know that doesn't happen by yourself. There's a lot of people in that village to make that happen. So I want to make sure that I thank those people who made this opportunity even possible for me.
It's a good call, making sure that you mention your wife in that too, Coach. So
there you go, man. Come on now. I've been at this a little while.
There you go. Well, you have been at this for a little while, and we're going to talk today about an approach that you use. You call it an old school coaching style with a new style of player. And when you just think of that overall concept, Coach, what does that mean to you?
What that means is the game has changed. And with the games changing, rules have changed, and coaching has to change. A lot of times when I grew up, you had to meet the coach where he was. There was flexibility in it. Nowadays, you have to find ways to relate to your players, and you have to kind of meet the players where they are and bring them up. Now, by no means does that mean that we relax on discipline, we relax on standards. All those things have to stay the same. But you have to be able to take that old school coaching style, that physical, that get after mentality, but fit it to the new school player because things are different. So you have to find different ways to reach them, to communicate with them, to make all that things happen. So that's what we try to do at American Cane, to kind of have that beautiful blend of old school mentality with a new school style.
And that's something you've done to instill this culture. But I think when you look at it today too, the idea in meeting them where they are doesn't mean that kids don't want discipline today. That I think some of you mentioned before we got talking that very much so they want some of that discipline in their lives.
Listen, I will go as far as saying not only do they want it, they need it. They won't tell you they want it, but they want rules. They want regulations because it gives them a parameter. Somebody told me a long time ago, you got to know what your bumpers are. When you know your bumpers, you know how far you can go left, how far you can go right. That discipline is what instills that bumpers, and that standard is what you hold for your program. And you want your players to reach and fight towards that program. I tell the kids all the time, we ain't going to be perfect, but we're never going to stop pursuing perfection. And that's a part of that discipline, saying that we're always going to get after it. We're always going to make sure that we're physical. We're always going to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And that carries on well beyond the football field. I want them to be great students. I want them to be great ambassadors for the school, great role models. We do a mentorship program where my upperclassmen mentor the freshmen and the sophomores. And we want that because we want to build that culture and that discipline. And when they know it's around, everybody starts to fall in line with the standard. And when you do that, man, the success will come.
For you guys, the success has come in year 2 here, 8-0 going into this next week of the season. And you mentioned meeting them where they are. So to you, what does that mean to meet them where you are, to be able to do what you need to do, to build that culture, to build discipline, to do the things that are going to win football games on a Friday night?
Well, that starts with the relationship piece that you build with your players. They got to know that you're not just some guy with a whistle. They got to know that you care about them. They got to know that you're interested in what they're interested in. You care about what they care about. Believe it or not, social media is a great tool. The kids, they like to listen to all types of music. So you have to show that, hey, I can listen to that too. Edited version, of course, got to stay school safe, but find ways to meet them where they are, where you're saying, hey, we're putting out these posts that you can see the excitement because the kids want to repost it. The kids want to put it out there and they're drawing that buzz. And another part of meeting where they are is taking the time to coach them in other things other than just football. I'm in the hallways when you're at lunchtime eating lunch with you. I'm walking around with you when you're talking about what you did this weekend. I want to know more about you than just what you do as a football player. To meet you where you are, I have to know who you are. So it's important to me that I build that relationship with my players. And that goes from the starting quarterback down to the kid that he may not ever get in the game. But when he does go, he's going to know and be prepared to what to do. You have to treat every player as if they are that player. And that helps build and cultivate an environment of relationship. And now everybody's communicating.
Coach, how do you deal with that tough to reach player? I mean, it's easy to write somebody off. That's the easiest thing to do. The tough part is to say, all right, I've got to find a way to connect with this kid. How do you approach it with that kid who maybe is tougher to connect with or isn't trusting you, doesn't have that trust right away? What are you going to do to, I guess, crack through that to be able to get to where you need to be with him?
Listen, the best superhuman ability is consistency. That's the best ability that you can have, is to be consistent with certain things. So there is going to be that player who's apprehensive, who doesn't want to talk. Well, you know what? You still have to show him that you consistently are going to continue to talk to him every day. You're going to continue to speak. And you got to just start laying out situations to help build that conversation and start to crack that egg. You want to be patient with it because everybody doesn't just open up immediately. So for that guy that is hard to reach, you want to be able to reach him, but you do that by consistently continuing showing him that, hey, I'm not going anywhere. You cannot talk, but guess what? I'm still going to talk to you tomorrow and the next day. And guess what? The day after that. And if it's a leap year, count that extra day on the leap year. I'm going to still make sure that I communicate with you. And even if it's something as simple as, hey, how you doing? How was your day? Eventually, they begin to talk and they begin to show you things and you learn more about your players. One thing that we try to do is we want to learn more about them and what their interests are, because it gives you conversation pieces to bring into the situation. And it may give you a coaching point later to help relate to him to where he may be able to understand the play call or understand the concept because you put it in his terms. You basically have to be willing to adjust on the fly with how your people communicate.
Did you know Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company? They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just quarterback Peyton Manning, I'm also meditating Manning. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Listen in. Starbucks. It's a great day for coffee.
Coach, let's translate some of this to the field in looking at what does a disciplined team look like for you? I mean, we used to look at a lot of different things from, hey, we're going to make you dress exactly the same way, and whatever it might be, the gear you're wearing, your shirt tucked in, or whatever it might be, to doing a lot of physical conditioning. But what does that look like? You know, we're talking about the new style player with an old school approach. What does that discipline look like for you out on the field?
So for me, that discipline, number one, let's go down to the basics. And mind you, when I say this, we are not coming from an ivory tower where we do everything perfect. We work to get better every single day. Like I told you, we're always pursuing perfection. But the discipline is reducing the number of penalties that we're getting. There's two different types of physical personal fouls. There's a physical personal foul and there's an idiotic personal foul. We want to eliminate them all together, both of them. But the ones that are definitely the idiotic type, that's the taunting and I want to showboat because I scored a touchdown. And listen, you got to act like you've been there before. These are the things that you want to bring down. Of course, I've been in the military for 20 years. So uniformity is always going to be something that's important to me. But you take, for example, when we have a game on Friday night, I tell my guys, hey, we're wearing black or white accessories. But I give them the liberty to take. That means you want to have a long sock on this side and you want to have a short. As long as within color schemes and what we're doing, that's where you really find that mesh. You find that melting point. Well, hey, I still have a standard of what we need to look at. But at the same time, I want to give you some ability to be able to express yourself. Nothing drastic, nothing outside of the norm, or nothing that is definitely anything inappropriate. But you have that discipline. They know that this is what we're going to do. We know what time we're supposed to be there. When coach says wear, this is what we wear. When coach says we're not doing that, this is what we're not going to do. And it's just establishing those guidelines and that your players will conform to if you're consistently serious about it.
Coach, for you, that old style approach is also a strong running game, something you believe in heavily. Talk to us about your run game and some of the things you guys do. What does it look like for you out on the field? What are the things you really like in the run game?
Listen, since I've been doing this, one old school coach mentor of mine named Coach Goodman always told me, you know what, coach? You have a play and you make that your staple. And it doesn't matter whether they load the box, whether they leave the box, no matter what they do, you let them know you're going to be able to run this play. We get after it on the ground. I think before last game, we were averaging 377 yards on the ground this year. Now, I will tell you, due to my good friends at Modern Football, that's been able to help me with that efficiency because it lets me know what run play that I'm running, how effective it is, and how much we're getting off it. I mean, I believe there was a week we had a snapshot from our app that was telling us our power play was getting 8 to 9 yards a carry. To have that type of real-time data for somebody who loves to run the ball, and now instead of me going to the buffet trying to figure out what I want to eat, this app helps me know what plays I'm going to pick and what plays I am going to do because the efficiency is there. And how else we do that? man, I got this guy named Ian Anderson. He is not on the market, but he's my offensive line coach, and he gets after those guys like no other. So we've been able to run the ball with guys in, guys out, injuries, substitutions. It doesn't matter. When you get in, you got to keep the Wolfpack standing. And if you don't, you can't play. So it's been able to give us a great run game. I think my running back, Andre Lopez, is a junior. He's, I think, 8 games in. He's over 1,100 yards and 17 touchdowns. So him alone is just putting up astronomical numbers. And it's just behind a strong run game. It helps when you know what plays to run. So kudos to Modern Football for that one.
Yeah, I have to ask you, in being someone who says, hey, I'm an old school style of coach, what was it about modern football technology that made you say, hey, this is something that can be useful for us? This is something we want to use, even though our objective is to run the ball and pound you. We think we could get something out of this to help us.
I tell you what it came down to. I mean, you name an offensive coordinator in the world, every play is designed to score a touchdown. Every play, when I call it, I'm prepared for that play to score a touchdown. But here's the reality. Every play doesn't score. And when you get in those situations, when you get into those 2nd and 6s or your 3rd and 4s, you want to be able to say off numbers. I think Jay-Z said it, people lie, but numbers don't. Numbers are going to always be consistent. So to get that type of advantage in game, for me to look at it in between series, I mean, it'd be able to tell me, hey, this is this percentage efficiency. This is that percentage efficiency. For a play caller, it gives me comfort to know that, you know what, I can run this play, not only because I think it's a good play, but by the numbers, we've shown success to have this play and ran this play and been able to get some positive gains out of it. So now when I say that old school mentality, I'm also an 80s baby. So I feel like I was born at the right sweet spot. So I got some of the old and I got some of the new. Technology, for some older coaches may be their worst enemy, but listen, it's an advantage, and it's a legal advantage to know what you're doing and how it's effectively being used. So why would you not want to use it? If I could give you the answers to the test, not condoning cheating, but if I can give you the answers to the test, why would you not take them?
I definitely agree with you there. And I know I have my opinions formed about it from seeing in the technology and being able to use it a little bit. But how easy was it for you to implement something like this?
So I would tell you, when we first started and I looked at the app, Kristen came down. Mind you, the leadership of this company, I cannot say how hands-on. I've never seen somebody who's so hands-on and willing to help, to show, to demo and train. So if you don't know about it, please make sure you're taking a look at it. But when he came and helped me pretty much install everything that I wanted to put in, showed us to be able to do it. And at first he said, you know, most people use a coach to do it. Most people have somebody dedicated to do it. But this program was simple enough that I was even able to get one of my managers who sits beside me on the game, and she can track what play we're doing, what's going on. And while she's been around football as a football manager, I wouldn't say she's a football savant, but her knowledge has grown so much just off of this platform. And she's able to tell me in between drives, hey, coach, last series, for example, I believe we had 1 week. She said, hey, coach, last game we won King 17 times. You was averaging a 57% efficiency. 32% of the time you're getting this and that. To have those type numbers at your discretion, it was very easy to implement, and it's something that anybody can do. You just have to take the time to learn the program and then take the time to use the program.
Coach, I'm glad we had the opportunity to get to learn more about your program, the approach that you take, some of the technology you're using along the way as well. And again, congratulations to you and your program on being named our National Coach of the Week, and best of luck to you guys the rest of the way.
Coach, thank you so much. I appreciate the honor. It is definitely not remiss on me. Definitely got a big game. If you're in the California area, come on out. Wolf Stadium, 7 p.m. Look forward to it. See you guys next time.
Here's our winning edge takeaway from our conversation with Coach Hudson. I think the biggest takeaway from this episode is that players crave discipline. We just need to meet them where they are. From there, we can take them where they need to be and create a team where cohesion among players and coaches sets the stage and foundation for everything else. It's okay to be old school. It's okay to be traditional. We just need to figure out what are the methods we need to use to coach today's players. And things that you did in the past, maybe our coaches did to us in the past, might not be the best idea. At least it's not what you lead with, but If that's your style, if that's your approach, you can get there by building those relationships like Coach Hudson does. Thank you again for supporting the Coach and Coordinator podcast. As you know, we want to support coaches at all levels by providing insight into the mindset and the skill set of the best coaches. We also want to share the best tools and technology that they use, and you can find those in our 10% toolkit. The link is in the show notes. Follow all we're doing at coachandcoordinator.com and follow us on X at Coach K. Grabowski.